Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about the conversions, right? Because I think that's something that's really important and difficult to quantify. People are like, okay, I'm going to build out a beautiful website that looks good on desktop. Two
Yeah.
pretty big mistakes. You really want to, like you said, you maximize your load time, optimize for mobile, tablet, make sure it looks good on everything, and then make sure it's not too cluttered. But
Yeah.
how? Let's say, for example. Let me back it up a little bit. How, when we're looking at our website conversions, how well it's converting to actual sales or leads, what are some ways we can measure that? And how do we fix it if it looks like it's broken? How do we know if we're getting enough leads or not?
No, those great questions. I mean, so first of all, put Google Analytics on your site if it's not. I mean, there's some free plugins that'll do your analytics, but Google Analytics is free.
Mhm.
So why not put Google Analytics on? You'll get data out the wazoo. In fact, we have a pretty brilliant, my business partner, Adam, man, he studied conversion for 15 years now and analyzes all the nerd juice that honestly, I don't even have time for. But we put a video out that just dumbs down Google Analytics because it can be scary when you jump in and look at all the numbers and charts and data. It's like the 5 places to look in your Google Analytics. It's brilliant. And for the average business owner, it's enough. So A, that's how you can start getting the data, tracking the data. But B, what you have to decide is what is a conversion for your business. Some people think a conversion is only when they fill out the, hey, I want a free quote or free estimate or whatever. And that's okay. But there's also smaller, like micro conversions that are just as important to watch. Like we know from data that one of the most important pages on your website, top 5 always, and I'm talking always as in like in education sectors, in professional services, in home services, top 5 pages, your about us, your leadership and team page, that page, everyone's going to visit it. Because nowadays in the marketplace, because we have so many options, people are choosing based on like personal resonance or personal connection. So you got to step out from behind your brand logo a little bit. But for a lot of people, there's a micro conversion is, hey, did they visit my about page? Because if they click through, on average 3 to 5 pages on your site, that's typical for a user. That's a great, like 3.5 pages. If they don't visit that about page, if you don't have a way to get them there, then they're just comparing prices between a bunch of other local people. If you can get them to your about page and like, again, why you're doing what you're doing, begin with why, Simon Sinek, or if you can tell them about the local charity you support or the free guarantee that you offer with your services, get them to that. So studying those like micro conversions is just as important as how many people went to my contact page and filled out the form. So we really recommend like looking at that and decide for yourself what is important on those conversions.
I like that a lot. The idea of an about page is super important because, like you said, if you're selling just on price, you're gonna lose. You got to sell based on that emotional connection with your reader. So assuming you get someone to your about page, what do we want to put on our about page? We want to put a full story that's, 20 paragraphs long. Like, what are we looking? How do we capture their attention and really resonate on our about page?
Dude, that's a great question. And like, if you spend a week on your about page and there's 3 things that we always recommend people have. Number 1, tell people why you started your business. So give them the why. If it's in a video, that's nice. Not everyone watches a video. Video does convert. It is king right now. It helps you feel more than just read text. So, that's good. But tell them why. Number 2, because we're scrollers, because like social media's conditioned us all to just read, glance, scroll, give me some quick facts. Like that quick facts thing isn't just a cool little counter and gimmick on sites. The reason why you're seeing that more and more is because it helps. Like, for example, like when I was looking to build a house, I didn't want someone who only built 4 houses a year. That's not wrong. It's just, I know I wanted to move a little faster than that. And if you're only used to 4 a year, and conversely, I didn't want someone who builds 200 houses a year. You can't pay attention to my house if you're building 200. So when you scroll and you see like, hey, how many X, things we do or clients we serve, you have to be okay that that's going to, separate out your audience. Some people it'll resonate with, some people won't. So give me some quick facts on your about page. The third thing on your about page that everybody misses, and this is gold, man. When you take over a website, are you trying to make yours better? somewhere on your website, you have to tell people what is the process going to be after they contact you. Because I don't want to sign up for, you know, 6 steps or something. I mean,
Mm.
in my head as a user, whether I'm calling you to mow my lawn or whether I'm going to the doctor to like check in my kid or whatever, I want to know what's going to happen if I contact you. And so give me the process on your about page. Talk about, oversimplified into like 3 steps. Hey, we're going to chat. We're going to send you a customized quote. And then we're going to schedule your job. Boom. Or say, hey, we're going to talk on the phone. Then I'm actually going to come out to your house because I like to meet you. Number 3, we'll give you the most competitive quote. And then number 4, like we'll go through a custom process. Like, just tell me the process. Every about page or sometimes your own page on your site has to tell me the process before I contact you.
Yeah, you are not kidding, Justin. This is straight gold because, and this is something that's kind of a common denominator when I talk to people about creating a good funnel. A good funnel always kind of gives you an expectation of what's coming next. Yeah. The worst thing to do is overpromise on one page. They click the button and they're like, this isn't what I expected, right? Yeah. The other thing that I found that a lot of people tell me is that each page of your website should send someone to somewhere else, right? Yeah. So you develop this spider web. There should never, the person should never be someone and be like, what do I do next, right?
Right. You have to think about what do you want them to do next after you read the about page, right? Don't just say like, okay, free quote. Like, well, no, maybe you have to almost think like, if you cared enough to read my about page, what do you probably want to know next? And that's what you have to watch. Like, if people then don't click through, and in Google Analytics, you can actually see what page they're clicking to next, and you can see if it's working. I just was telling someone yesterday, a unique thing that's rising out of the data recently is that footer navigation is growing. Like when we study click maps and heat maps, we do embarrassingly high numbers of hours of video tracking on websites just because we love the nerd data. But people are getting to the bottom of the site and there's been no provocative call to action or logical next step. And so there's a footer sitting there. And if all you have in your footer is your privacy policy, your career stage, and back to home, man, you're going to make me scroll 6, 7 scrolls all the way back to the top? No, man, my thumb's too tired for that.
So you think that business owners should really be maximizing that footer action, or do you think that they should be more clear on a call to action in the body of the page?
Both and, right? You got to realize that what you thought might connect with them on that page might not. And so in that footer, think, well, we'd still want to know about like our special or a guarantee, or, don't just make it sign up for our newsletter. Like,
yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.